Here is how TikTok Shop creators and sellers can set up a professional TikTok live stream for a PC or Mac. This is a complete beginner's guide, and later on I'll even show how to add optional on-screen alerts for some sales. So let's start with the requirements, which are pretty simple. As I mentioned, this is for TikTok Shop creators, aka affiliates, or TikTok Shop sellers. It is of course for PC or Mac TikTok live streamers. And of course you need a camera of some type, whether that's a professional camera, a webcam, or your smartphone as a camera. And I'll put my video guide to show using a smartphone as a camera in the description. Of course, you need a microphone plugged into your PC or Mac as well. And as for which PC or Mac you can use, basically any PC or Mac that isn't ultra cheap, it just needs to be able to encode some live video. And basically most PC or Macs can do that. And most people's internet speed is above 6 megabits per second. But if you need to check, just head to speedtest.net. If you want your viewers to be able to hear something that is not your voice, you'll need one of some speakers plugged into your PC or Mac, or the default speakers that come with it. Or for a slightly more professional setup, which I'll explain later, you could have a headset on instead. The most common thing that would be playing would be music. So let's get started. What was I showing at the start of the video? Well, I was showing the TikTok Shop Live Manager. I'll put the link on screen and in the description. And this should be visible to both sellers and creators, like I said. And in theory here, you could just go live with your microphone and your camera straight from the web browser. But I'm going to show you a more professional way, and the way that is my recommended setup. For this, we're going to be using the Aitum vertical virtual camera, which is a mouthful, but we start by installing OBS Studio. Don't open it yet, but you can run through the installer and just accept any defaults on the installer. I said don't open it yet because first we're going to install an OBS plugin. So this is Aitum Vertical. Download this and run through all the default options on the installer as well. And what we're going to do is open OBS and then set up our stream inside OBS and then send it to the TikTok Shop Live Manager inside your web browser. And of course, your OBS won't be looking like this just yet. So let's do the basic setup, and I'll start from scratch just to show you what to do. So to start with, we're going to click on Profile at the top, choose the new option, give it a relevant name, for example, TikTok Shop Streaming. Check this box to show the auto config wizard and press OK. For now, I'm going to choose I will only be using the virtual camera and press next. This looks fine, so I will press apply settings. And next, I'm going to click on scene collection and new. Once again, give it a relevant name like TikTok Shop Streaming Scenes and press OK. Now you can see I've got a landscape and a vertical canvas. We'll be focused on the vertical canvas, but if you can't see the vertical canvas, click on docs in the top left and make sure vertical scenes, vertical sources, and vertical are checked. It might be popped out like this, in which case you can drag it around and just place it inside OBS wherever you want it. And then you just drag the corners to resize it. And you might have to do that with a few different ones like the vertical scenes and the vertical sources. I like to just place it on the right. And before I forget, I'll teleport myself to the left so you guys can see it properly. So basically what we're going to do is set up this vertical canvas and then send it to the TikTok Shop Live Manager. And we need to start with audio by clicking on settings or file settings and head to the audio option. Most important thing is our microphone, so just click on the microphone option and find the relevant mic. For me, that's my Quadcast. As I mentioned earlier, we won't necessarily be playing any audio from our PC speakers or headset, but let's do this anyway just for best practice. So to start with, I'm going to choose my PC speakers. You probably don't have all these options, but for me, that is this option. Later on, if you're going to use a headset, I'll put timestamps. You can find that section. There is an additional step involving an audio cable. Regardless, let's set it up with speakers for now. Press OK, and you'll now see in this audio mixer, we've got both the headset and the microphone added. You can right click and choose the rename option on each of them if you want to rename them. Let's also make a tweak to our microphone by clicking the three dots, clicking on filters. We're just going to add some basic noise suppression. So I'll choose noise suppression, I'll press OK, and I'll choose the RN noise option and press close. That will filter things like fans and AC in the background. So now it's time to set up our actual live stream inside OBS, and then we'll show how to send it to the TikTok Shop Live Manager in your web browser. So again, just for best practice, because I like to teach people best practices, we have both a landscape and a vertical canvas. We're just going to focus on the vertical canvas. For me, it's on the right hand side of my screen. And we'll set up what will be the most two popular scenes. And that would just be your full camera with some optional images on the screen. Or if you want to show what's on your computer screen as well, we'll show how to display both the camera and the computer screen. So I'm going to right click where it says vertical scene and rename it. So we'll start with the full camera one. I've called this full camera vertical. You name it whatever you want. Press OK. Again, it is deliberately blank for now. Let's add a second one. We either right click add or press the plus button. And I'm calling this one camera plus display vertical and press OK. As I mentioned later on, with a slightly more advanced setup, we'll be adding a third vertical scene, which will let us play a video. But for now, we'll focus on these two. I'm going to click back on full camera vertical. And now underneath vertical sources, this is where we're going to add our camera. So the camera can only be used in one place. So if something else is using your camera, make sure you close that application and press the plus button. It's called a video capture device. I'm going to click on new and I'm going to find the correct camera. That is my stream cam. I'm going to expand the options a little bit, and underneath resolution FPS type, I'll choose custom because OBS doesn't always add the highest quality. For me, that's the 1920 by 1080 option, which means 1080p. And I'll put it on the highest FPS, and all of the other defaults should be fine, so I'll press OK. And now you can see here on the vertical canvas it's added. I can click on it to drag it around. I can drag these squares that appear to resize it. I can right click it and choose transform, and I've got various options for automatically resizing it. And as a final option to alter anything, I can hold Alt and drag the squares, and this crops it. So because this is a full camera scene, we want it to fit the entire canvas. I'm just going to drag it to the top and then drag it all the way down. You can see it's not centered properly. I'm going to right click, transform, and center it horizontally. And now it's perfectly centered and fitting the entire screen. And when you're happy with its placement, I suggest you press this lock button so you don't accidentally click on it. Now I can no longer click on it to drag it around. We're also going to rename it, right click, rename, just give it a more sensible name. For example, the name of the camera, but this is a Logitech Stream Cam, and I'll press OK. And later on in the video, we'll add optional alerts to this scene. For example, when you get a new follower, and even for some new sales as well. For now, let's focus on the other vertical scene, which is our camera and our computer display. Now for this one, we have to remember the bottom third of the screen is usually covered by the chat, as well as a little bit at the top. And once again, what we'll do, we'll add in our camera and then our computer display. So we've already got the camera. Let's press the plus button and go back to video capture device. But you can see my stream cam's now showing. So I'll just click on it. This time I'm going to right click, transform, fit to screen, and then just drag it and place it wherever I want it. I'll put it in the top third and I'll lock it into place. And then there's really two ways you might display a computer screen. So let's show both of them. To start with, regardless, let's press add source. And the simplest option is display capture, which shows everything on one computer screen. Again, just be careful what you're showing. So I'll choose the new option, and I just need to choose which display it is. I'll choose my Samsung one. And I'll press OK. And once again, we just click on it to drag it around. So some people might just place it beneath the camera and then drag it all the way to the bottom, right click, transform, center horizontally. Of course, that cuts off the sides of the screen, but it fills the whole canvas. Other people might choose to show the entire screen. So right click, transform, fit to screen, and that shows the entire computer screen, and I would just place it beneath me. In that option, you'd probably want to place something into the black space, keeping in mind that area is partly covered by the chat, and that will lead us nicely on to how to add images. But before that, let's just rename the display capture if you want. So right click, rename. You don't have to, but for example, I've renamed mine to Samsung Display and press OK. And when you're happy with its placement, whichever option you've chosen, just lock it into place. And as I said, let's now look at how to add images. Of course, as a seller, there's probably multiple reasons you might want images. For example, to promote a particular product, or to push users to take a certain action, or as in our example here, just to fill part of the stream. So you can add an image anywhere. You could add it to the full camera display, or you can add it to the camera and display. Again, for us, let's just fill the bottom third with an image. So press the plus button, choose the image option, choose new. It's pretty simple. Just press browse to find what you want. So for example, I'm just going to put this random purple background at the bottom. Like I said, you might put something that promotes your sales. Regardless, we'll press OK, and we now just have to place the image wherever we want. Keep in mind, once again, you can drag the corners to resize it, especially in the full camera one. You might just have a small image, like that, where it's just next to you, and you can point at it to prompt the viewers. Anyway, for me, this is going to be a bigger one because it's going in the bottom. So I'll just place it manually where I need it, and I actually need to expand it a little bit. And again, just to be pedantic, I'm going to right click, transform, and center it horizontally and lock it into place. And if you want to, right click and rename it again. So as you can see, we've now got full camera vertical. Again, you might want to add an image here as well. And we've now got our camera and computer display with an optional image at the bottom, although of course you can do whatever you want. You can expand the computer display down. Now later on in the video we'll go even more professional and we'll add alerts on screen for things like followers, superfans, and even some sales. And we'll show how to play music and any other audio from your computer, including promotional videos. But I know some of you might just be happy with this current setup. So let's look at how to go live with this setup. And we need to start first in the Aitum vertical settings by clicking this settings cog. Most importantly, where it says virtual camera, it needs to be set to vertical. You don't really need to change any of these other settings as long as it says 1080 by 1920, as long as the bitrate's somewhere around 160. In fact, the bitrate's not really relevant. Regardless, press OK. And what is relevant is this button here, this yellowy orange one where it says vertical virtual camera. Like I said, that's a mouthful, but we're going to click on it to start that camera. And we head back to our web browser into the TikTok Shop Live Manager. Once again, I'll put the link to this on screen and in the description. And we can practice going live by clicking the drop down and clicking practice. Again, if you're confused where this page is, you just press the go live now button. Again, you're not actually live, so let's click on practice. Now, firstly, video source. This is where it might be confusing. This is the OBS virtual camera. So you can see I've now popped up here. And once you've chosen an audio source, you're going to start hearing yourself. That's just while this page is popped up, so keep that in mind. So if you start speaking once you've selected your microphone, you will hear yourself. So just click on audio source. For now, you're going to choose your microphone, which for me is my Quadcast. Later on, we'll have a slightly more professional option using a virtual audio cable. But this is still professional enough, and I can hear myself when it's trippy. Press start. And again, you're not actually live here, but this is now what it looks like. If I put them side by side, if I kind of shrink OBS down, if I click on the camera and display vertical, you can see it's now switched. If I click back, it switches back. So the viewers are now seeing what is going on inside your OBS canvas. And this lets you edit the stream while you're live. For example, you can add or remove stuff. Again, I've not got much stream space, so you can see this eye icon. I can literally just hide myself, show myself. So as I'm sure you agree, this is just a more professional way compared to just adding your camera through your web browser. So some of you might just be happy with this setup, in which case you would just press go live. And what you would have to remember to do is open OBS first, so OBS can capture your camera, and then open your web browser, or the web browser will steal the camera. And of course, you would have to start the vertical virtual camera, and then you could go live from this live manager. And we'll look a bit more at some of the features on the live manager later on. And we'll also be looking at how to add TikFinity alerts and stuff like playing background music and videos. But just briefly, if you're finding this valuable and you want to support my work plus get even more value, then you can check out my Patreon page called the Live Success Academy. We've got over 40 posts with what I've learned over 5 years of streaming and content creation, designed to help accelerate your growth as a streamer. And like I said, that also just supports my work at the same time. So you can check that out both on screen, in the description, and in my bio. And let's get back to the video. So let's make our stream even more professional now. And we will start by adding alerts on screen. These are all optional for things like new followers, new likes, new gifts, and new superfans, formerly subscribers, and even some optional alerts for some new sales. So for this, we are using TikFinity, and I'll put the link both on screen and in the description. If you're on Windows, use the desktop app. If you're on a Mac, use the website. The link on screen will guide you to both of those things. And we're going to start on the setup page, make a TikFinity account, then add in your username, click on TikTok login, and click login to TikTok. And you can see there are so many options here, but we are focused on this page called Actions and Events. So click on that. And if you get this pop-up, click yes. If you don't get the pop-up, you see in the background it says click here to import predefined alerts. If you can't see either of them, then delete everything on your Actions and Events page and click out of it and back in. So I'll click yes. And straight away, I'm being prompted to add this link. So just click on the link and press OK. That copies it to your clipboard. Again, if you can't see that link, scroll down where it says screen 1. Click on the link. So this is where our TikFinity alerts will show via this link added to OBS. So let's add it to OBS. So once again, we're focused on the vertical section, and we're going to add our alerts to all of our scenes. So we'll start by clicking on the full camera scene and click the plus button. I'm going to choose the browser option and press new. I'm just going to basically override this URL with the one TikFinity's put in our clipboard, and we will have to play around with these dimensions I am going to try 600 by 300 to start with. Importantly, let's shut down source when not visible. So if we switch to different scenes, it doesn't play in the background. Other options are fine, so let's press OK. And you might be confused. Yes, it is deliberately blank, but you can see this rectangle, which is showing. I can drag it around, and this is the space in which our alerts will appear, and we'll be able to test them in a second. So just choose where the alerts go, keeping in mind again, the bottom part of the screen is covered by chat and part of the top is. So I'll just place them up there for now. I'm also going to right click browser, choose rename. I'll call it TikFinity alert screen. Name it something related to TikFinity, just so you're aware what it is, and press OK. And lock it into place when you're happy with its placement. And we're going to add it to our other scene as well now. Bit easier now though, because it's already added. So I'll press the plus button, choose browser, just click on it. You can see it's already there. So I'll just place it where I want. For example, for me, maybe in the middle of my computer display. If I want to perfectly center it there, center horizontally. And once again, lock it into place. So what did we just do? We added TikFinity's basic alerts for new follows, gifts, likes, and subs. Now I've shrunk TikFinity down a bit, just so we can see how to see what they look like in OBS and therefore in our TikTok live shop manager stream. So two ways, you could either just press the play icon underneath the actions or scroll to the bottom and simulate. So for example, simulate follow. You can see because the canvas is quite small, it's hard to see. So you could temporarily just unlock it and expand it if you want. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to utilize this landscape canvas so we can see it a bit better. I'm going to press the plus button under these sources on the landscape canvas, choose browser, add existing TikFinity alert screen, and I'm just going to expand it so it fits the full screen. We can now go back to TikFinity and then just play something just so we can get a better look at what it looks like. So I actually think we picked some okay dimensions. Here's the subscribe one, for example. But if you feel the dimensions are wrong, then just double click on it in your vertical sources and just change these dimensions. And I'm just going to delete it off my landscape canvas because we don't need it there. So just heading back into TikFinity, you can see we've now got alerts where it says events here for any new subscription or super fan, anybody who taps 100 plus times, any gift, or any follow. You can customize all of these by pressing the pencil icon. For example, you can increase the number of taps. You can also just toggle them off if you don't want alerts for likes. You just check that box and it turns them off. And basically for this to work, you just need TikFinity open in the background, minimized, or if you're on a Mac, you just need it open in a tab. Again, you can minimize it. But I mentioned shop alerts, so let's add an alert for shopping as well. So I'm going to start by creating a new action at the top. I will name it shop alert. Now there's a lot of options we could do here. TikFinity is so powerful. Basically, it seems that the shop alert is triggered by a showcase item being purchased, and you can do literally any of the things that are on the screen here when that happens. What I'm going to do is put the product purchased on the screen. It doesn't show the user's name, it just shows the product that's been purchased. And I'll optionally show a few extra things as well. For example, we'll put an animation in the background, so it'll be some text and an animation in the background. So we just choose an animation. You can go through all the different options. I'll just choose the well done one and show alert user plus text. If I leave this blank, what it's going to do is put a picture of the product and then put the name of the product that's been purchased. You might be happy just with that, so you can leave it blank, but you can also add an additional message such as thanks for the purchase. Now this box here, you can pick different colors. For example, if I want to set it to yellow, if you know the specific RGB number or hex code, you can type those in and press OK. And the default global overlay settings are typically fine, but if you want to customize the look, then you can go through these and you can keep testing it once we've created the full action by just pressing the play button to see what it looks like. Now, additionally, you might want to play some audio. So there's two options here. One is text to speech, the other is play audio. So you could upload any sound file that you have or choose from the My Instant Sound library. For example, if I just want a Discord ping sound, I could just type in Discord and press apply, and it will play a Discord ping sound whenever somebody makes a purchase. On top of that, or I can check read text, text to speech. And in this example, you can see voice is set to Ghostface, but one of these voices will read out loud what we type in this box. So if you just want the same thing, like thanks for the purchase, I just put that in the box. You can press test to hear it. And now Ghostface will read out loud, thanks for the purchase. Unfortunately, there's not many parameters, so Ghostface will not read out the item that's been purchased or the person that's bought it. TikFinity only works with the data that TikTok sends them, and they don't have that much data, probably understandably, when it comes to TikTok Shop. Now we will mention audio a bit more later. For this option, with our current setup, the viewers would just hear it playing from your PC speakers and your microphone would pick it up. Anyway, let's scroll down. The display duration is how long this alert shows on the screen. So 10 seconds might be fine. You might want to lower it a little bit or even raise it. That's up to you. All of these other options are fine as the default, so I'll press save. You can see I've now got the shop alert. I could play it right now.
Thanks for the purchase.
You can see it's on my screen right now, but of course it's not set up yet because we have to link it with an event. So create new event, check purchasing a product from TikTok shop. And again, from what I understand, this is just showcase products. I could be wrong. And you'll see in the top right corner of TikFinity, you can join their Discord to ask them additional questions. Now, I am not going to put anything in this box. If I leave this blank, it will just show for every single showcase purchase. If you add a product name, it's basically any word that's in the product name. If I go back in the live manager, for example, for number 1 here, it's any of these words. For example, I could type the word battery and then this product would be guaranteed to show up. But if I just leave it blank, it's just going to show every product. Now, crucially, trigger all of these actions. It is the shop alert and then press save. So now our TikTok shop alert is set up. Again, I think it's only showcase items, but you can just press the play icon to see it inside OBS. And because the OBS virtual cameras added to the live manager, it will show on your stream. So with TikFinity now added, many of you might be happy just with this setup. And again, you would just go live by starting the virtual camera. You would head into the TikTok shop live manager. And then for your camera option, you would just add in the virtual camera as the camera and your microphone as the microphone. But we can get even more professional with some additional audio features and options. So let's look through all of those now. And this is going to include things like playing videos, playing music, and adding filters to your microphones. So I'm actually going to start with microphones. And this one is only for people with NVIDIA graphics cards. That'll be on Windows. So what we're looking at is NVIDIA Broadcast. And basically, it can do some great work to remove background noise from your microphone. I'm actually using it to record this video. You basically just download NVIDIA Broadcast from the NVIDIA website. Inside NVIDIA Broadcast, select your normal microphone and just turn on noise removal and room echo removal. You could even try the studio voice one if you want. That does use a lot more of your graphics card's power. These two options are fine for me. And then what you would do is when you're going live, again, we can use the practice mode to show it. Underneath audio source, you would instead choose NVIDIA Broadcast as your microphone and not your real microphone, which for me is my Quadcast. And that will just improve the audio quality on your live stream if you've got a bit of room echo or stuff like fans and AC playing in the background. So for me, again, in this setup, I choose the OBS virtual camera. And again, I'm not going to click on it because it starts playing the sound. I would choose NVIDIA Broadcast. All right, let's talk about playing music on your live stream now. Firstly, I'll just say I'm not a lawyer. It's up to you to work out whether you have permission to play this music. So the very simplest way to play music on your TikTok shop live stream is just to open something like Spotify, and you could do this via your phone or via your computer. And then as long as this music is playing through your speakers, either your phone speakers or your PC speakers or Mac speakers, of course, those speakers just need to be close enough to your microphone for the microphone to pick it up. And it's really that simple. You just play the music, and as long as the mic picks it up, your viewers will hear it. And again, many of you might be happy with that, so you just go live with that option, but it will not sound as professional. If you want an even more professional setup, what you want to do is route the music straight from your computer to the live stream with no speakers involved. And for this, we need two things. I mentioned earlier on, we need a headset for a slightly more professional setup. So this is where the headset becomes involved. And as you can see on the screen, we also need a virtual audio cable. Now, I'm not on Mac, so I can't guarantee whether or not this setup works on Mac, but this definitely works on Windows. So I'll put this link on screen and in the description. The virtual audio cable will basically help us send any audio coming from our computer, including microphone and including things playing through your headset. It will help us send it professionally and clearly to the TikTok Shop Live Manager stream. So just go ahead and download it. And you just basically click the button. It's basically one click to install it. And then most importantly, restart your computer here or it will not work properly. And for clarity, you can just press the X button on OBS and it will save your work on OBS. And then we have some basic setup to do once you've reopened OBS to start with. So it's probably not needed, but I will just stop the virtual camera and click on settings. And we're going to head to audio and I'm going to scroll down and underneath advanced monitoring device. Again, I've got so many options. I'm going to set this to cable input VB audio virtual cable. and I'm going to press the OK option. And I'm going to head back to the TikTok Shop Live Manager, and we're going to head into practice mode again, just to show you what we're going to do. Underneath audio source, select source, and now instead of our microphone, we're going to be using this cable output option. Again, once you've clicked on it, we don't have anything set up, so it's silent for now, but it might start playing audio. And we would also be using the OBS virtual camera, which I don't have turned on for now, but this would be our new setup, but we're not fully set up yet. So let's close out of that and show you how to set it up by heading back to OBS. And basically in this audio mixer at the bottom, we have to send things to the audio cable. To start with, of course, it needs our microphone. So underneath microphone, I'm going to click the three dots and click Advanced Audio Properties. And where it says microphone, where it says monitor off, I'm now going to change it to monitor only mute output. And what we've now done is sent my microphone to the virtual audio cable. So I'll press close, and that also includes any filters you've added to the microphone. So I do suggest adding noise suppression, or alternatively, if you did what I said earlier, you might just be using NVIDIA Broadcast as your microphone. Regardless, the live stream now has our microphone via the virtual audio cable, but that's kind of redundant. If we're just sending the microphone, we didn't really need to do that. The virtual audio cable lets us add even more audio. For example, we can add our entire desktop audio, anything playing through it, to the live stream. Now, why would we do that? Well, for example, if you're playing music in the background. So to do that, click on the three dots, Advanced Audio Properties, the same box pops up, and I think you've guessed it by now. You just change the audio monitoring to monitor only mute output. So now our TikTok Shop stream, they can hear my microphone and they can hear all of my desktop audio, which would include, in this example, my Spotify. Now you can see, just as a side note, I'm showing Stream Beats by Harris Heller. This is guaranteed to be copyright free if you want something to play that is guaranteed to not get you copyright strike, but it seems that TikTok's pretty relaxed with that stuff at the minute anyway. And again, audio settings can be confusing. So in this example, let's double check all of our audio settings. If I was actually streaming, my desktop audio would be my headset, which is my Cloud 2 wireless. The microphone, depending on your setup, is either your actual microphone or NVIDIA Broadcast. The monitoring device is the cable input without the 16 option. And also just check your general audio settings if you want. Your output device should be your headset in your general audio settings, so the sound from your computer is being heard through your headset. Now, one other use for the virtual audio cable is you can professionally play videos to your audience. Of course, most likely this is going to be some promotional video promoting whatever product you're selling, but that is up to you. And you could add a video to one of the two vertical scenes that you've made already. But let's make a stand-alone scene for the video. So underneath vertical scenes, I'll press the video. I'll call it video vertical. You can name it whatever you want and press OK. And most importantly, we're going to add in our video. So press the plus button. This time it's a media source and press new. Now, just firstly, before we add the video, you can choose whether or not to loop it or just play it once. Probably makes sense just to play it once, but it's up to you. So just press browse to find the relevant video and then just press OK to add it. And it will only play once. You have to click back and forth to get it to play again. And you will not be able to hear this right now. And neither will the viewers for now. I've just picked some random video. To make the viewers be able to hear it, you can see we've now got another option in our audio mixer. It says media source. So I think you've guessed it by now. We're once again going to set this to monitor only. If that doesn't work, try monitor and output as well and press close. And now when you click onto your video scene, it will play the video once and then you'll just be left with a black screen if it's not on loop. And then you can just click back into any of the other scenes that you've got and continue your stream. Now, honestly, audio is kind of my weak point. So maybe there is a way that you can hear the video as well. When I tried it, only the viewers could hear it. That's the most important group that needs to hear it. But again, just keep in mind with this setup, you can't actually hear the video yourself. There is a kind of less professional way, and you can just use your camera plus computer display scene. And then you could literally just pull up a video like I'm doing here and just play it like that. But of course, that shows the media player and all the controls and everything else. It's not as professional, but you could do it that way as well. And that method doesn't necessarily need the virtual audio cable as well. Okay, so we've now got a professional live stream setup. We've got our camera, we can show our computer display, we've added TikFinity alerts, we've added the ability to play music and videos. Let's just quickly look around this TikTok Shop Live Manager. The first thing to say is while you're live, you can actually click between all these different pages if you need to click on something else. But for the most part, this live console is our home here. And of course, to start with, it will prompt you to add products. And these, of course, will show in the shopping basket. You see this switch mode in the top right. You can switch between video focus mode, which you saw at the very start, and the control focus mode. I like control focus mode. It just shows a bit more stuff. And the chat will pop up here, and you can click on each message if you need to either block somebody or mute them. And there's a few different settings cogs just to control things like all the different chat settings. I think this button actually does the same thing. It does. And finally, let's review the correct steps to go live. So the order in which you open things is important. To start with, open OBS first before your web browser. That is because OBS needs to be able to capture your camera, which can only be used in one place. Next up, we have to start the vertical virtual camera. So you press that button to start it. And then next up, make sure TikFinity is open. It will auto connect to your stream when you go live. If it doesn't, head on the setup page, click on connect. You may have to click it a few times, but usually it will automatically connect. And then you can just minimize TikFinity and it will run in the background and alerts will pop up throughout the stream. And then thirdly and lastly, open the TikTok Shop Live Manager. And if you want to practice before you go live, choose the practice option. If you want to go live straight away, just press the go live button and then choose your video source, which for us is always the OBS virtual camera. And once again, that lets us, using OBS, if I move this here, click between all of our different scenes and the viewers will see it in real time. And our audio source depends how far you went along the video and which parts of the video you adopted. It would either be just your microphone or in video broadcast if you use that, or if you went even more advanced, it would be the cable output VB audio virtual cable. Again, that's a mouthful. Again, I'm not going to click on it because it does start playing sound, but as soon as you press go live, you won't hear the sound anymore. And to state the obvious, as soon as you press go live, you will now be live on TikTok with your live shopping stream. And of course, you can ask a friend or a mod or just the viewers to make sure everything is running smoothly. Now we showed TikFinity a little bit, but if you want an even more deep dive into TikFinity, you can watch this video.